Hi guys, are you all excited for the Indian T20 League 2021? Well, I am, and I have come across the great fantasy sports app called My 11 Circle, where you can use your cricket knowledge and skills to win in crores. The really unique feature about it is that what you can actually literally play with champions like Dada, Rahane, VVS Laxman on this app. Also, don't please hold your breath, because not only My 11 Circle have all these legendary cricketers on their app, they recently got the kings of energy and awesomeness on board. Ranveer Singh. Yeah, you heard it, that right. Ranveer Singh is on My 11 Circle. Download the app now.
Hello everyone, this is Norman Kochnick here for Extra Time. I've got the right hat on. The Extra Time hat's well and truly on. Oh, I've got my other hat here, Norman Kochnick there, but that's another day. How are we all? We've had 2 games. I haven't had any sleep for weeks. I've forgotten what it's like to sleep anymore. You realise what time it is in Australia, don't you? In Australia, it's 10 minutes to 4. But I'm up and awake and I'm very excited. This was an amazing day of cricket. In particular, the first game and now the second game. But the first game, RCB, AB de Villiers, what a champion. He and Maxwell absolutely murdered the opposition. It was just incredible. KKR, no hope. And I hate to say it, in the second match, Delhi Capitals have also torn apart Punjab Kings. And I think that they're both, RCB and of course the likes of Delhi Capitals have shown their wares today. We're looking at 2 teams that will be in the top 3, I'd say for sure, unless something else happens. The standards were very distinct, weren't they, between the 2 teams. So let's introduce our panel. The young and beautiful Amit Gupta, who's showing a bit of chest hair there. Very, not that I'm worried about that. We've got Rizzy there. He's got one of the best beards I've seen in any television. He must be the most popular YouTuber based on your beard. It's fantastic. and we've got Surav Panda. I'm going to call you Panda. I love pandas, so that's your name. You're from, of course, the Bharat Army. Bharat Army, of course, yes, are a force to be reckoned with. They are everywhere. Everywhere I turn in Sydney, Australia, where I'm from, is a Bharat Army member supporting India. It's quite phenomenal. You are everywhere. It's brilliant to see. We had someone from America the other day. It's been great. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Well,
thank you.
Where do we start? As we're talking, I can see Stoinis in the interview process. I don't think he did exactly too much today, but the reality is that Delhi Capital has certainly given Punjab Kings a bit of a belting. I was extremely disappointed with the bowling of Meredith and Dry Richardson. They bowled so many full tosses. I thought I was watching a baseball game. Seriously, that wasn't great. Yeah. Hasn't anyone taught them you've got to get the ball to hit the pitch? Awful bowling. They're really disgusting. I'm an Australian and I think very little of their bowling, and I would drop them. I would honestly drop them. They need to be given a spell, because if they don't improve, Punjab Kings are in big trouble. But going back to the first match today, AB de Villiers, oh my gosh, masterclass, absolute masterclass. Why has South Africa not got him playing in the World Cup? I've got no idea. South Africa desperately need him, don't they? And I don't know what's going on there. I'm gobsmacked why he's not playing for his country. South Africa must be cringing when they see him bat so well in the IPL, yet he's not available for the World Cup. Incredible. All right. Before I go any further, I'm going to go to Amit, because I know he's full of discussion. He was discussing crazily before the show even started. I said, Amit, hold back, leave some of the show. You'll be petered out. And that's when the shirt, I think, unbuttoned itself, because he was animated, he was talking to it. All right.
That was my style, actually.
Oh, that was you.
That actually is his style. He keeps his shirt buttons open all the while.
But today I'm all today I'm all covered head to toe.
Thankfully so. Thankfully, because our female supporters would be putting messages on galore and would be uncontrollable. But all right. Over to you. You're still wearing the same red shirt.
I am, and I'll before we go to Maxwell and AB de Villiers, I think we should talk about some of the captaincy during the KKR game. I mean, Varun Chakravarti had picked up 2 wickets. I mean, why will you get him out of the attack? You saw the other day when Deepak Chahar was getting wicket, Dhoni just used him. Or like I think Rohit also used Rahul Chahar better. I mean, why will you do that? You are getting wickets, and the only way you are going to win a match is by get wickets. So why will you stop a bowler who has got you 2 wickets in middle of a spell and give it to someone else and let Maxwell and AB de Villiers, who both like the ball to come onto the bat, get into some kind of form and uh, it at one point of time it looked like they will get less than 150 and they let them score more than that. I mean, the captaincy was ridiculous to say the least.
Sometimes I wonder with captaincy, I mean, whether they've got certain plans on a piece of paper and they stick to it religiously, which shows a lack of foresight and thinking. I sometimes think it's that. So, okay.
I would agree with Amit
Rosie, you
Gupta.
talk.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I would agree with Amit Gupta, considering Ian Morgan is completely struggling with captaincy. And despite having those Harbhajan Singhs and the Shakibul Hassans in the side, he is completely relying on those, typical kind of traditional kind of spinners, relying heavily on them. Varun Chakravarti is someone who is a mystery bowler, someone who knows how to tackle on those kind of wickets. Although we agree that Chennai wickets are very slow, but it was played like it was baked. It's sunny, hot out there, very easy to bat on. Then there you need to have someone who can mix up those deliveries. And Ian Morgan is completely clueless. Since last year he was made the captain, I don't think he's been so confident or convincing enough for KKR. And I don't feel they have any leader. I mean, to my opinion, they should give some time and change the leader quickly, because I don't see any more success in future for KKR if they go like this. And Ian Morgan is good for England captaincy as a T20 or ODI or whatever. But I think we should go for KKR has to immediately sort out those captaincy leadership issues, because if they need to go ahead successful, if they want to become successful in this tournament, they have to take quick decisions.
Who would you give the captaincy to?
I believe. See, 118 matches. Someone like a Nitish Rana, although he may be like a bit inconsistent, but he's there. He knows stuff. He's played on this. He's been quite successful in Mumbai in IPL. He's someone who bowls off spin, as we know. He's quite a bowler, a good bowler. He's a part-time bowler, but knows how to bowl. A good bowler, a good leader can, bowl at good times. Can take that lead, which I see in Nitish Rana.
Okay.
Although it's quite quick, yeah. It's quite quick. Yeah.
I can see your point, but they're probably unlikely to do that, aren't they? Really, that's unfortunate.
Unlikely. I mean, you need to see. IPL is something that you need to take bold steps. Yeah. It's too bold, and I don't see any captain. Dinesh Karthik, you know what he has done so far.
Or like Delhi and Rajasthan have done. They've gone to a youngster, total youngster. Maybe Shubman Gill, if they are investing in him, maybe why not him?
Actually, Shubman Gill might be a choice.
But the point is that even if you look at the KKR squad that they have, they don't have any options. I mean, as I was talking to you earlier, if you don't have good Indian batsmen at the top of the order, you are going to struggle. And Rahul Tripathi, I mean, he might be good, but can he win them an IPL? I have my doubts. Similarly with Punjab Kings, can anyone win them the IPL? And Indian batsmen beyond KL Rahul and Mayank Agarwal win them the IPL? Best of luck to them if someone can. But you cannot do without a good Indian batsman in your squad. Which now KKR, even if they want to change the squad for coming matches, I don't think they have any option in this squad. Do they go to Sheldon Jackson? Who do they go to now?
Yeah,
exactly.
Very true. Surav, Panda, we need to welcome from Barrett Army. Who's your team? Who's your favourite team?
KKR.
Yeah.
So
he's
wearing a
KKR
jersey.
Yeah. So Knight Riders.
Of course. I
the
thought
kind
you were
of
wearing your
performance.
pajamas. I thought they were your pajamas. I didn't notice the top you were wearing.
No, no, no. Um, the as being as a Knight Rider fan, it's actually very tough days to go through because previously in Mumbai match we saw we are almost winning the match, and in the last 30 balls the whole match turned over to Mumbai side. They choked us really well. Dinesh Karthik and having been Dinesh Karthik and Russell in the middle, but they were not able to time the ball perfectly. It was like run a ball required, but still they were not able to cross the line, and we lost a beautiful match. And same thing happened today also. Morgan seems like totally clueless in the middle to whom to go with in the bowling. We can you can see the last 3 overs it went for 17, 18, and 21. That
Yeah.
death overs where they should have controlled the innings. They gave huge runs to RCB, and which created pressure on batsmen. Look, you can't really expect your batsman to win you every matches. When your bowler given you a good start, taken two quick wickets in just in second over, and you don't give him chance in the fourth over. Instead, you bring Shakib Al Hasan. That was absolutely clueless captaincy from Morgan. Like what I feel is forget about the practice session that KKR having. The next match is with CSK, by the way. So before that CSK match, the management needs to sit down with Morgan and have some core strategies to which they will stick to.
The reality is, it's just very clear there's a different level of team. There's almost like two sets of teams. There's been some anomalies, but really, Delhi Capitals, RCB, Mumbai Indians in particular are streets above the rest. I hate to say that. There's something missing in Punjab Kings. KKR, I would argue, is probably closer to the top four than not. But there's something a little bit missing there. And Sunrisers Hyderabad have imploded yet again. I would have argued that Punjab Kings, Rajasthan Royals, and CSK are probably the ones which are somewhat towards the lower end of the table. Sunrisers, Hyderabad, of course, and the likes of KKR in that middle zone. The other three are way above. There's clear class distinction. I mean, the good thing about today's matches was particular last match was the opening batters batted pretty well. Agarwal and Rahul, when you first look at their scores, when they're 50 or 60 after 6 overs, they looked in command and they should have actually gone on with it. And they seemed to they were on track to score over 200, weren't they? They certainly were, and they didn't make it. And Delhi showed how good their batting is. They canted, and they could have easily gone well over 200 if they tried. And again, he looked pretty sure looked pretty good today, didn't he? He looked pretty good. That's one impressive thing with the game. I think Amit would attest to this. I've spoken from the beginning. Your top three got a fire. One or two of those batters got to be there towards the end. And Dhawan certainly did that today, didn't he? His batting was stupendous. The guy is clearly in contention to be in the World T20 competition as a batter. He'll have to try and knock off Rohit Sharma and Rahul. That's going to be difficult, but he deserves to be up there. He's time and time again Dhawan produces, doesn't he? Magnificent. He was player of the match as well. All right, guys, let's listen, because we really are reviewing two matches here for extra time. We'll go back to the first match for a little while now and just marvel at the game there. My concern is, and I mentioned to Armin off air, my concern is, can RCB sustain this batting performance? They're doing extremely well. They're streets ahead. If all their batters fire, they'll win the competition. But can they sustain this for the whole tournament? Have they peaked early? Rizzy.
I mean, why not? Why not? They can sustain it. The thing is that if you look at it, Virat Kohli hasn't even come to the party as if now, and Devdutt Padikkal also has not done that well up till now. So they can actually sustain, and I think somehow they have found the right sort of a balance, right? Sort of a position for Maxwell to bat. His batting between AB de Villiers and Kohli, and he's somehow not the main. He's not the main batsman of the team, which he was under too much pressure at the Punjab Kings when he was there. So I think Maxwell is also loving his position, and lesser said about AB de Villiers is more. I mean, over the years he has shown what he is capable of. And Norman was talking about him playing for South Africa. I think he has spoken something about being ready to play for South Africa if Boucher finds a place for him in the team. He
Finds
has,
a place for him. He'd be the first person picked.
yeah, he has said how what Boucher thinks about the combination and whether he wants him in the team or not. So he has, I think, expressed his willingness to play for South Africa, given Boucher wants him and his own fitness, if he's fit enough to play for international cricket.
I mean, he certainly did look a bit red-faced today. He looked very tired, but understandably so.
Yeah.
Particularly hot out there, wasn't it? Particularly hot out there. Ahmed, on the first game
I would
now.
say, yeah.
Ahmed, on the first game, what was your thoughts?
I mean, it was as I said earlier. I mean, KKR doesn't seem to, as if now they don't seem to know what to do. I mean, either with their bowling plans or with their batting plans. I mean, how they would love Shubman Gill to take more responsibility. I mean, they would want him to be there for at least 10, 11, 12 overs to get some runs, so that the likes of Morgan, Russell can do something. But that is not happening, and that is what they will like. And similarly in bowling, I mean, you're playing Harbhajan Singh. I think he's over the hill for last 2-3 seasons, 4 seasons maybe. I mean, and if you have Kuldeep in the team, is he so unpickable that he's not getting a game? Is he injured? Is he out of form? What's happening with him? It was a similar situation when he was with the Indian team, and it's happening again when he's with KKR. So someone needs to answer what's wrong with Kuldeep Yadav that he's not getting a game.
Well, I can comment about Kuldeep. In Australia, I spent a lot of time around the Indian team at Drummoyne Oval and certain matches. Kuldeep seemed very unruly, is the best way of describing it. He was constantly being pulled into line by the team. He would talk to crowd members. He would do things he wasn't supposed to do. I think Kuldeep's a bit of a rogue. I'm getting the impression he's not very disciplined. I'm getting that impression, having seen him in Australia, and he was on the outer there, and I think he's on the outer even now. I think he's got disciplinary issues. I can't confirm that. I'm only observing from what I saw, and you can sense a mood of a player in a training group. And he seemed to be quite unruly. Now that may be the reason, because otherwise I can't understand why he's not being able to go. Because when he did play matches, he played very well, I thought. So I don't get that at all.
Taus, Seems can say a bit more about, because Taus is a spinner. He can analyze Kuldeep a bit actually.
Rizzy, tell me what your thoughts are. You're on
Kuldeep.
No, I would say Kuldeep is. I think he's used to sitting right now ever since he's been out of the team. He's not Virat Kohli's favorite. He's not Eoin Morgan's favorite. This is completely surprising, considering you have that playing those kind of wickets which support spinners. This is a format where leg spinners work, and he's something kind of an unorthodox spinner who can fly the balls googly, those Chinamen. It's very difficult to read. But now that he'll get a chance, he'll lose all the confidence in one match or two matches.
Yeah.
He needs that backup to give him some time. You need to play him. The captain needs to give all the confidence in the world and back him throughout. Give him some 3-4 games. Say that you won't be dropped. Just take your chances. Just like how batsmen are giving those chances. Like a Prithvi Shaw, any batsman who's like really talented, they are given their chances. Like how Rohit Sharma has been given since 2007. But bowlers get very limited chances. Hence, I believe Kuldeep is a special bowler. He needs to be given that kind of confidence that he deserves. Because anyway, you're called KKR. The bowlers are not doing that great. So why not take chances? By chances, you can say. I mean, it's not chances, but give him chance, opportunity. Not, but give him also opportunity. He might win you some games. Couple of them, at least 2-3 games are much enough. But
Yeah.
I believe KKR is lacking somewhere. I mean, captaincy is the major point that where they are lacking. But I'm happy for Virat Kohli. He did not score. He scored just one single digit. But he must be happy with the with 3 back-to-back victories. I think they are on course. They have something. This season they might deliver some special performance, especially Glenn Maxwell. AB has been doing fantastically over the
My
years.
only concern,
Glenn Maxwell will be performances and back-to-back half centuries from Glenn Maxwell is something like. I mean, he's delivered. He's set off in this tournament. I'm excited about RCB. And they'll win some more, and you never know. Play for top 4.
yeah, I think you're right. I mean, RCB, if they keep this form up, that's my only concern. Is they'll win the competition. They'll certainly test both Mumbai Indians and DC in the final, especially in the batting. But what was particularly interesting about the batting of RCB was at the death on a wicket which in Chennai has been difficult to score any runs. It seemed like De Villiers accelerated and had no problems. Yeah. And that tells me very clearly that the batters need to take note. There's always this excuse, the ball stopped on me, it was uneven bounce, whatever the case. Rubbish. You need to actually get your act together and learn from the De Villiers what to do. Surav.
So totally agree with Rizvi sir, as he said. Like if you compare Virat Kohli's captaincy this season, previously in his captaincy you will see the aggressiveness of Virat Kohli. But this season with the kind of squad Virat Kohli he's doing captaincy with a more logical mind. He's using all his 11 players. Even today also he didn't score much, but the kind of captaincy he did in the second innings, the way he took given the ball to his bowlers were actually choked KKR. It's not where the KKR lose the match from the initial point, but it was from the last 4 overs where KKR actually it made sure that KKR is not winning at all. And in the 19th over, giving Siraj the ball, and the way Siraj bowled the first 4 ball to the exact point of Yorkers, the 4 ball, if you see the 4 balls, you will it seems like you are watching the same ball repeatedly again and again and again. So Virat Kohli showed the trust, showing the trust on this season, and you can see the results as well. RCB winning the 3 continuous matches is not kind of a luck. It's what Virat Kohli is doing with his captaincy and using all his 10 players. And what I think is the trade of Harshal Patel was actually the charm for Virat Kohli, because previously RCB is lacking for that 5th bowler, and now they have that 5th bowler in terms of Harshal Patel, who can give them wickets in any point of time, like in middle overs, in death overs. So that's why, like RCB is a tough competitor for top 4s, and they will continue this form, because previously also in previous seasons you can see there are many changes in the playing 11 continuously, 4 in 4 outs, continuous changes. But this season they find the balance from very beginning, so they will continue this form till the end, what I expect.
Very true. The reality is that, and I've made this clear on a few episodes.
It's brave of RCB to continue with Virat.
The RCB have
absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. The balance is important here, but it's more so they're surrounded by people that are winners. Mike Hesson is the coach. Obviously, also the coaching of Simon Kadich. And probably most importantly, and you guys probably don't see it as clearly as I do, I know Dan Christian very well. Dan Christian wasn't even in the 11 today. Yet, when he came on, he took a spectacular catch, which was pivotal to the match. Dan Christian's presence, regardless of whether he does well with a better ball, is integral. The man knows how to win, and if you look, and I've been talking about this, I think I talked about that with you earlier. You watch Kohli looking all the time to Dan Christian, nodding at each other, commenting to each other. Dan Christian has provided a great backdrop for Kohli as well in how to win matches in this format. He's an expert. He's probably one of the rare players who has played for so many teams that have all won. Very rare that a person does this, and he has proven that. Every team he plays wins. His presence is enormous. You watch very closely where Kohli looks during a match, and his eyesight will always be towards Dan Christian. It's a very, very interesting point. And I mentioned earlier about the likes of when Warner was in the dugout, and where the positioning of Williamson was with Bairstow. Williamson and Bairstow having private chats separately from Warner. There's a certain disharmony there as well. That's the key to this. Captaincy is not just one person. It's those that are around the captain as well. And if Kohli's learnt how to be a good listener. He's listening to people around him as well as making. That's the key to a good captain, as we know. Owen Morgan's a bit off, certainly. But
I think.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I think Kohli should consider himself lucky actually that RCB has continued with him as a captain despite not delivering the title, not even delivering the top 4 finish on consistent basis. You know, I think he's in his 7th year of captaincy or 6th or 7th year of being captain of RCB. Yeah. I think that finally maybe Kohli is sort of has he matured or not matured, I don't know. But at least he's not changing his teams every game. Kohli doesn't play as same team. See, there is a Navdeep Saini who is an India bowler. He's sitting in the dugout and he has put his confidence on Harshal Patel. And he knows exactly when to bring him on. Right? He has put his confidence in Mohammad Siraj. And Siraj, I think, in my mind, he's one of the most improved bowlers in international cricket right now. You know, you remember him from few seasons back, I think. 1 or 2 seasons back, I think he had delivered 2 beamers and he was out of the bowling, and then the team won. I think it was against KKR only, I think.
Yeah, 2019.
It was against KKR only. So you see Siraj also, people who would have seen him in domestic cricket would know that he's a more than capable bowler with the red ball. But his white ball form recently has been good, and Kohli is making use of that form, trusting in Harshal Patel, trusting in Shabas, trusting in Chahal. So you can see a certain degree of improvement in the way Kohli is handling the captaincy now. But certainly he has been lucky to survive as a captain. In no other franchisee, no other captain would have survived such returns as a captain of a franchisee. You know, you can see how Gautam Gambhir was removed. You can see from Dinesh Karthik in between the season. You can see, I think Smith also became captain middle of the season at Rajasthan Royal. So you can see the captain have been removed like anything, and despite not delivering the title, Kohli is there, and finally, you know, this might turn out to be just his season, the way they have started.
It's all about the timing of the season. It's the momentum and the timing of their peak. I wouldn't mind if RCB have a bad game in their career. I wouldn't mind, because it may actually be just the tonic to make them come back to even stronger towards the end. That's I would never suggest you have a bad game. But if they had one, like Delhi Capitals did the last game, it sorted them out too, hasn't it? Delhi Capital came back very strong today. They're proving a point. I can't see Mumbai Indians winning the competition. Not because they're not good enough. On paper, they're the best. But they have to come over the hurdle of playing 3 wins in a row. It's very difficult to do that. Rizzy, what's your thoughts? Brizzy, what's
You're
your
seeing law of averages. No, I would yeah, I would say yeah, I agree with the no, I agree with Amit Bhai completely that Virat is too lucky, and brand Virat that is working. That's why
Yeah,
he's been retained as the captain of RCB. It's the brand Virat, that is obvious. It's the kind of the brands that you get associated with this. It's all business. IPL at the end of the day is business. You have the biggest player, you have the best world's best batsman in your team. You have all the brands with you. You don't need them. You don't need to win titles like you have seen over the years, like last 7 or 8 years. You're still successful as far as business is concerned. But yeah, this time Virat is looking. Maybe he's betting on some local talents. Like last year, Navdeep Saini was definitely awkward, wayward. I mean, even when he plays for India, he's here and there. He doesn't have that. He's got that extra pace. He's got that good seam position maybe, but he bowls here and there. But in T20 cricket, you need to be accurate. Even like Harshal Patel, you don't need to be really quick. Like how Rajat Bhatia was for KKR, Harshal Patel could be more effective. For RCB, he's got the team now. He's got Maxwell now. Where Virat has obviously he has AB de Villiers and some international Dan Christian and all. What do you want? Just consistency is what team demands. What is needed. And here, I mean, 1 or 2 games you said, Norman, it won't be bad for them to lose so that they can come back strongly. So I think it's RCB and Virat will be happier at the end of the day, even if he reaches the final. Maybe they want to win the final also.
The reality is this is what the 10th and 11th game of the series. We've got up until 60 games in total, including the playoffs. We've got a long way to go. And I think we'll see RCB basically dip at some stage. Inevitably, there'll be a game they'll dip. And I'm happy for that because they'll come back. All right. I think we've talked enough about the RCB game. I think we've talked enough about that now. Let's shift our thoughts now to the Delhi Punjab Kings match, shall we? Okay.
Yep.
When I first saw this match unfold, I thought the way the game was going, really, there was an element there with both openers, both sides of batting, that you think that their side was going to win because they had great command when they both were batting. I was quite impressed with Punjab Kings' start, weren't you? The likes of Agarwal and Rahul, they batted sensational, didn't they?
Absolutely. The kind of shots Mayank Agarwal was playing, he was like very much looked confident from the dugout itself. He came prepared for the shots he played. The mindset was very clear to attack the bowlers from both end. Even KL Rahul also attacked the bowlers. So the initial start was very good, but somewhere when the first 2 wickets went down for Punjab, the innings got slowed down. At the end, it was like, I guess, Shah Rukh Khan. I guess he managed somehow to cross the border of 190 plus. Else, one stage it was they will easily cross the 200, but as soon as KL and Mayank went, the Punjab innings slowed down. So all thanks to Shah Rukh for the last moment shots which he played to give them a respectful total from where Punjab started.
Now, there were 122 runs after 12 overs. They should have hit 200, well and truly. They hadn't even lost a wicket at that stage. The reality is that it's frustrating because they were 4 down at the end of their innings. So they weren't skittled out. They had enough batsmen to play. They should have scored well over 200. They had the game at hand. They could easily have won this match with a score of 220 plus. They could have had a better opportunity to put more pressure on the Delhi Capitals batters, and they blew it, didn't they? They really did. Agarwal and Rahul, take my hat off them. They were sensational. You'd have to agree. And they've actually got a really good batting lineup. Huda, Puran, Shah Rukh Khan, even Chris Gale. That's a pretty damn good batting lineup. Amit.
I think Norman, you look at the strike rates. In T20, a lot of chatter is about strike rate. Look at the difference of strike rates between KL Rahul and Shikhar Dhawan. I think KL Rahul went for what 112 or something, and
119.
Shikhar 119. And look at what Shikhar Dhawan was striking at 187. That also made a difference. And also, I think Punjab will have to look at how to use Shah Rukh Khan. He really looks good. Whether they would want to push him up the order, they will have to take a call on that. Whether they want to push him above Puran, whether they want to push him about Huda. Where I think right now Shah Rukh Khan is batting too low down the order. He looks like a sort of a package where who can hit good shots, seems to have a good head on his shoulders. So I think they'll have to at some point of time bring him up the order to go from say 190 from a score of 195 to 210. If they have to go there, they will have to relook at his batting position at some point of time. And of course, KL Rahul's strike rate, which should be at least 150.
But in the scheme of things, 195 for 4 after 20 overs is generally a pretty good score. You should be able to defend that. You should have been able to defend that. Right, Rizzy, you want to say that? Can you hear me, Rizzy?
Yeah, I agree. Like 194, 5. Yeah. 195 is not a good score, especially at Wankhede Stadium. I mean, where the ball swings a lot in the evening. Seamers can do a lot of things. I mean, Wankhede is a beautiful wicket for batsmen as well as bowlers. How you use it, up to you. It's up to the team. Batsmen, these people did very good job. Initially, they got a great start, but at the end, you saw how these Punjab screwed it up. I mean, look at Chris Gayle coming number 3. It was too low. I mean, they had played enough overs, 12 overs. Chris Gayle had time, but this man takes time to score. But who did not give enough room to Chris Gayle to get those big shots, he got out. Just 1-6. Deepak Huda is talented. I mean, at the end, apart from Shah Rukh at the death in the last 8 overs, Delhi deserves the credit. Delhi bowling for restricting them to 196. Maybe they were confident that they would chase the target easily, and they did it at the end. I mean, Prithvi Shaw, of course, the start that he got for Delhi was amazing, and a very bad shot that he got out for Shikhar Dhawan. I would agree with Amit Gupta. The strike rate was the difference between the two top order batsmen, KL Rahul and Shikhar Dhawan. The way he paced his innings, the way he rotated his strike, amazing. I think 196 was a good score, and chasing on this wicket was not that difficult because Wankhede is a batting beauty as well as it helps bowlers.
Yeah. Okay. From your perspective, you're obviously a fan of KKR, which we've talked about. What did you think of Punjab Capitals though today? Punjab Kings. What do you think of them today?
The thing is, they're actually more dependable on KL Rahul. Whenever you talk about Punjab, the only name comes up to perform is KL Rahul, or else it would be Mayank Agrawal. Apart from these two names, there are very few occasions where Gale, Puran, or any other names comes up. As Amit sir already said, Shah Rukh, they need to groom Shah Rukh Khan if they want him to lead the batting in the middle orders, because he got some great shots, some great talent within himself, and he brings a lot of stability in the middle orders. So I guess in place of Huda, Shah Rukh could have been used today. because as Amit sir said, he's a complete total package for Punjab. So they need to groom them. And as far as talking about the bowlers of Punjab, the only names comes up in the bowling lineup is Mohammad Shami. But again, Shami today gave some 40 odd run in his 4 overs, I guess. So
Yeah, but I think Shami's performance today was reflected by the bowlers around him. Richardson and Meredith were awful. It put extra pressure on Shami, and you know what? Bowling full balls or full tosses is contagious. When one team up in the bowls full tosses, it's funny how other bowlers start to bowl full tosses. It is a form of you begin to overcompensate too much of that. And really, it's probably more disappointing that Punjab Kings bowlers rather than their batters. Because the batters did get 195. You can't say they batted horrifically. The reality is their bowlers were very, very disappointing. That was
right. Just like Rizvi sir said, the Wankhede is absolutely a beautiful pitch to bowl on. The pace bowlers can swing the ball around, but in case of full toss, you can't actually help them.
No, it just seems to me that, and it shocks me a bit that the prices put on Meredith and Richardson to get into the IPL were way overpriced. They had never played in India before.
Yeah.
Where do you get paying someone, a large amount of crores when they've never played? And they're like two space cadets. They're like two amateur kids that are playing for the first time at any level. They are embarrassingly so. In the BBL, they performed reasonably well, but I'm afraid BBL is not IPL. And I think we've overrated something horrid. Meredith wouldn't make my Australian side under any circumstances. He's way off the beam, and despite some pace, horribly inaccurate. Sorry, you don't bowl full. You can't blame the conditions or the country or whatever on your bowling. If you bowl a full toss, there's something wrong with your bowling. Period.
I think both of them will realize also that Wankhede is not a ground where you can err, because it's a small ground, and once you put bat on ball, as Taus will agree, which he has done many a times at Wankhede, the ball just flies. I mean, once you clears the infield, it's tough to stop boundaries. And the Punjab also, I think a lot of teams don't come to their initial matches with any sort of plan or anything. I mean, you are playing Riley Madrid when you have Chris Jordan, who is sort of a T20 specialist. Well, why will you not play him? I mean, on a small ground where having a variation might be more useful than either you are as accurate as Trent Bolt is, right? To bowl that well, or a Bumrah is. Either you have those sort of bowlers who you can trust blindly to bowl. Otherwise you have to go with bowlers who have some experience at least of bowling in India, which I think Chris Jordan has, which I think Moses Enriquez has. So that's a place where a lot of think tanks are erring in this IPL that I'm seeing.
You've hit the nail on the head. Moses Enriquez, I play him any day over these two. Even in the BBL and the various state competitions, Moses Enriquez excels immensely. It's beyond me. Rizzy, have you got a ball in your hand? You want to bowl a delivery? What are you doing?
He's an off spinner.
I'm an off spinner, and I would like to say something. Like, it's very important to have a spinner in the side. I mean, a senior spinner. Yeah, it's important to. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, exactly. That's how you bowl at Wankhede. So it's important to have a good experienced spinner in the side. At least someone not like a Jalit Saxena who is just come into it. He's trying. Being an off spinner, he's getting those carom ball. I mean, when you have a Shikhar Dhawan at the side, you have to bowl. Someone like he's a left-handed batsman, you have to bowl.
Well, I mean,
off spinners, even though it may not spin, but it will spin because of the dew. So you need to have a spinner in the side, which Punjab is not having.
And if you see
Deepak
last
Buddha,
time,
I mean, he's a part-time
last
spinner,
time they
off spinner. Jalaj.
Ravi Bishnoi had done well for them. They are not playing him.
He was taken out of the scene. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
He had
Riley
done well in the
Meredith,
last IPL.
Riley
This
Meredith
year he's
was
not
brought-
playing.
Riley Meredith was brought on this team. He bowled 2.2 overs, and got smashed 15 runs and over. What is he in the side for? Why was he bowling so late? He bowled horrifically. They had to drop him, and they should actually have added an extra spin on it. May have been the success of the day. Awful. Punjab Kings are severely lacking in talent and good bowling. Other than Shami, the rest of them don't rate. I'm sorry. Horrible. Punjab Kings, I'm predicting they're going to be in the bottom two. What do you think, guys? Surav, what do you think of Punjab? Where do you think they're going to finish in this particular competition? Do you think they've got anything capable of improving? Their batting's pretty good, but their bowling is going to be beaten every single time.
Yeah, like if you see, only your batsman can't win the matches. The T20 is also all about what your bowlers bowl in the last 10 overs. The first 10 overs might be difficult, but the last 10 overs is what your bowlers can do, and your only batsman can't win the matches and win you the trophy. So the kind of performance Punjab is giving on, like they're not even able to defend the 200 total. So this makes them very difficult for them to be in the top four even. Like forget about top four, top six will be very difficult for them because the likes of RCB, Chennai, even KKR is also doing better than Punjab. What Punjab is delivering currently. So I guess they need to work on their bowling department because they have a good batting order. What I think, so they can actually attack any kind of bowling lineup opponent have. Like even RCB can be attacked with the kind of batting lineup they have. Chris Gale, Mayank Agrawal, Shah Rukh, Huda, experience plus freshers. So batting is shorted. Batting is not an actually point of concern for Punjab. The point of concern always will be the bowling department, and as soon as they find a stability in their bowling, they will be good to go with the playoffs. Else, I don't think so. They will be making to the playoff this season as well.
No. Yeah. I just go back quickly. Look at the RCB.
I believe.
I mean, Siraj and Jamison, Chahal bowled well today. Sundar bowled pretty well today. Maxwell, Harshit, they got a great bowling line, and they used a lot of spinners. And that was Chennai's pitch. But Rizzy, who would you put into the Punjab Kings bowling line? Who would you add by name?
Out of right now.
Well, Punjab Kings, the bowling line, as we've discussed, their bowling lineup.
I mean, I would
is
go.
not
See,
great.
I would go as far as spinners. Yeah. I would say Punjab. See, I would add Chris Jordan, someone who's experienced, as Amit Gupta said. He's got the variety. He can bowl the slow one. He's got the pace whenever he can pitch it up. He can bowl those Yorkers. I mean, on these wickets where the ball swings a lot, Ankit is, if it bowl those slower ones, it will help you. Chris Jordan is someone who can bring experience as well as variety into the bowling lineup. Apart from that, you need to have a good spinner, someone like a Bishnoi, like Amit Gupta said. He's got that. He's a good leg spinner. He's got that quick action. I mean, look at Rahul Chahar and all. I mean, one game he might have suffered earlier in the first game, but then he bounced back in the next two games. So these youngsters need that confidence. So here and there, a couple of two good bowlers, and they will be in a bit control because they have the good batting lineup. 195 or not a bad score to defend. If they had a good lineup, they could have won. Because I mean, look, a few full tosses here and there, bad days happen. Mohammad Shami bowls that badly once in a blue moon. But yeah, you need to have that, to you need to have match-winning bowlers with X factor in them. So I think Chris Jordan has that X factor which can help Punjab, and Bishnoi is someone who can add variety to the to the bowling lineup.
Yes. On that point, though, it is about sometimes some bowlers and teams may have an off day. It happens. But you've got to persist on at least a few games to let them settle down. But in this particular case, Punjab Kings haven't bowled well in most games. And I go back to Meredith and Richardson. This is their third game together. They haven't bowled well in one of them. They've been awful in all three. And this was in particular their worst effort. They've got to get rid of one of them, if not both of them. I think Meredith, even by the fact that he bowled 2 overs today, showed me that if a bowler of his calibre is there bowling with only 2 overs, there's something wrong, fundamentally wrong. All right, guys, we might just, those 2 games we've talked about quite well. We've got a couple minutes left. We might just turn our mind to the next game. If I look at the next game, who we've got playing, let's try and find who's playing the next game. Okay.
Dhoni and Chennai. Dhoni, Rajasthan and Chennai Super Kings.
Okay, let's talk about those 2 teams, shall we, for a few minutes? What do you see that needs to happen there? Dhruv.
Talking about the Chennai and Rajasthan match, my first favorite pick will be Chennai Super Kings because of the kind of lineup they have, the experience they hold. It's like nothing in front of Rajasthan. Rajasthan seems like a kid, a high school team in front of Chennai, and the kind of form Faf and Raina are showing currently. They will be actually outplay the Rajasthan bowlers, and in the absence of Zorfra Archer, Ben Stokes, like the main strength of Rajasthan left them. So it's like the rest of the IPL, Rajasthan will be working with the spare parts, not the main parts. And if you look at any team, if you keep any team in front of Rajasthan, the other team will look heavy in front of these kids. So yeah, I guess this will be an easy win for Dhoni and company.
Very true. All right, Rizzy, last thoughts before I think we've lost Amit for the evening. He often has internet problems. So your last comment, Rizzy, on give me your general take on where the IPL is at.
No, I would say I would completely agree with very good funny statement that high school kids are playing these senior college boys. That is Chennai Super Kings, the senior college boys, and they will bully them on the ground tomorrow. Because the kind of lineup they have under Mahendra Singh Dhoni, and the way they bought some amazing players at the auction, they were completely serious, especially after the devastating performance last year in Dubai, in UAE. Chennai Super Kings is back at their best, I guess. I mean, they may have lost one game, but you cannot rule them out immediately after one game. So these guys they'll have some easy games out there. Chennai Super Kings is going to play ball tomorrow because obviously Ben Stokes is not there. Jofra Archer, which takes a big difference to these youngsters, especially Samson, who's still learning the. He's good batsman, still tricks as far as captaincy is concerned. So Dhoni Samson taking on Dhoni will be something interesting. Whether he can learn from Dhoni, what he'll learn from Dhoni, that will be interesting on the ground. So I think it's going to be a good game where Dhoni and boys will have a cakewalk.
All right, Amit, you have
as far as IPL is concerned, I think for me it's Mumbai.
You still can't see my okay. Mumbai on paper has to be a deserved winner in this competition, but I don't think they're going to do it somehow. Amit, last words from you. We want a minute from you of punching commentary.
I think RR would have. I don't think they have any chance against CSK. I would be very surprised if they do well. Once again, they will be banking on Butler and Sanju Samson, if both of them can do anything for them in terms of the betting. This is another thing I don't get with teams like RR. They don't invest. They don't invest in local talent. I mean, even if they invest, they let them go. They invested in Ravindra Jadeja. They let him go. They sort of had at one point of time they had Ajinkya Rahane, let him go. Steve Smith, let him go. What are they trying to do? I fail to understand year after year, coming to the IPL and not making any serious march towards the top four or top three, top two. I mean, it sometimes baffles me that why these teams are there in the tournament. Are these teams there in the tournament for good stories, that small time town boys or this or that? I mean, what's the point of playing if you're not going to win the tournament, like Mumbai Indians do, or uh, DC now, Delhi Capitals do now, make strong teams and have a good crack at the tournament, or for that matter, KKR also at times.
The worst thing that those teams do, the Rajasthan Royals and to an extent Punjab Kings,
Yeah.
is they actually throw too much money. They throw overs in cash to a young player that hasn't even shown himself yet. They're overcompensated. All right, guys, we're going to finish there. We're going to finish there. This has been a great discussion. I need to also, before we go, need to mention my 11 circle to give our sponsors the final touch.
Hi guys, are you all excited for the Indian T20 League 2021? Well, I am, and I have come across the great fantasy sports app called My 11 Circle, where you can use your cricket knowledge and skills to win in crores. The really unique feature about it is that what you can actually literally play with champions like Dada, Rahane, VVS Laxman on this app. Also, don't please hold your breath, because not only My 11 Circle have all these legendary cricketers on their app, they recently got the kings of energy and awesomeness on board. Ranveer Singh. Yeah, you heard it, that right. Ranveer Singh is on My 11 Circle. Download the app now.
All right. It's been wonderful having you on, guys. We've gone well and truly to time. We've got a great sponsor. We've got a great set of games to come. This is only the 11th match out of 60. Bring it on. Bring it on. More double headers, more success. And Amit, change your, you can have a different coloured shirt next time. Joking. All right. Thanks, guys. This is Norman Kochnek signing off from Extra Time. It's been a wonderful day. Double header. I've enjoyed it immensely. Speak again soon. Goodbye.